Well, greetings everyone. It's 5 p.m. Saturday, 5 p.m. Eastern Time, and that's when I do the show, Catch Up with Mayo. It's a live show where I basically hang out for an hour, give or take, and talk with you, people who watch the channel, have questions, and I hope this is working out. I probably say the same thing every week. Saturday nights at 5 p.m. Eastern. Probably, I say, I hope it's working out. I hope the time is good for everybody. It's not good for literally everybody, as I say. There are going to be people who are working and all other sorts of things, maybe. But yeah, this is the time for now. So, what can I say right now? Still enjoying the summer weather. I keep saying this is like the most amazing summer as far as my first summer as a retiree, and this summer couldn't be more cooperative as far as the weather goes. I think this is pretty amazing, and yeah, it's been good. Hello, we got Woodland Goblin here. We got Christopher 628. We got Tony. So we'll see how many more people arrive. I know we got right now about 30 people tuned in. Scott Campbell asking me, have you seen the original TV ad on YouTube for the 1966 Beatles inflatable dolls you recently obtained? Yes, folks, I just made a video where I talked about the Beatle blow-up dolls. I have one of them handy here. They are now deflated. I deflated them. I may inflate them again. But yes, I have seen the original TV ad, Scott, from 1966. As a matter of fact, I decided to link it to that video. So if you happen to watch my video and you click on the link in the description box, you will see that I put that commercial there. You can watch it. So, hello, Penny Lane. It's going great. Hello, Nick. And glad you liked that video that I just was talking about. And hopefully we have no audio issues. And I think if we had had audio issues here, people would say, "Hey, can't hear you." Yeah, I've been having some problems with audio off and on, not every time. And for whatever reason, when that happens, it seems that what I have to do is I have to shut my entire computer down, shut it all off, power and everything, and turn it all back on and start fresh. That seems to be the only thing that helps it. Let's see. I had just seen a documentary narrated and hosted by Paul McCartney called The Power of Music. It is based on helping autistic children people through musical therapy. What's your take on it? Well, it definitely sounds like a good cause. I just have not seen it. The Power of Music. So I can't tell you about that. Of course, a lot of people right now know the news. I'm still thinking of doing a video on it. I haven't done a video proper because there's not really much to say about it. And that is the idea that director Peter Jackson, who did Get Back, is interested in doing another project with Paul McCartney and Ringo Starr about the Beatles, and he's not able to say what that is exactly, but there is something planned. I think he said it's not going to be another documentary, that it's going to instead be something very exciting with Paul and Ringo, but don't know. So exactly what is, I can't say. So hello, Joseph Mantaneo. Oh yeah, well, Woodland Goblin. I'm not a shorts guy. I don't do shorts under any circumstances. So what's going on, folks? Anybody got any questions? I know if it's the same people here every week, there are only so many questions you could come up with on a weekly basis. I get that. I understand that. But hopefully we can have stuff to talk about anyway. I see Mr. Blood Vessel joining in the jokes. Not on your sweet life. I know how much you would like to see that, Mr. Blood Vessel, when you see me sometimes at the record store, but I'm afraid you're going to be disappointed. I'm sorry to say. Gotta leave you disappointed, bud. So, yeah, I don't know what the project. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's very, very intriguing. It's leaving us hanging. It's very, very uh, delicious to taste. The idea that there's something going to be done Beatles wise by Peter Jackson. We just don't know what. And we'll have to, I'll let you know as I find out. Hopefully, I'll get the scoop on the inside somehow. Hello, Rob Delker. Happy Saturday to you. Uh, any updates on whether or not Paul will do a second leg on tour? I don't feel so bad about the ticket prices after seeing Bruce Springsteen prices. I just heard that he was going to do that. I haven't heard anything official yet, but I heard he was going to do that. I think it would be so cool if he just made Glastonbury his last show in his career because it was so well received. He would go out on a high note. But as far as it being a sequel to Yellow Submarine, I have no idea. With the Peter Jackson project we're talking about, the only thing I'm speculating is, and other people are speculating, is if it's going to be some kind of a project using that imagery of John and George trying to bring them back somehow onto the screen. Don't really know. I think there was a in depth where Peter Jackson said a little more about how the technology is not there. Whatever it is he wants to do, the technology is not quite there just right this moment. So whatever this is may have a little bit of time left to it. Sequel to Yellow Submarine wouldn't be a bad thing, I guess. Maybe a concert film with John and George CGI. How is Don? Have you seen him recently? I saw Don today. Don right now is having some health problems. He was in the hospital for just a few days. He's out of the hospital, I'm happy to say. He has some issues, but he's working on them, and he's still himself and up and about, and everything's going pretty good. Yeah, he's going to be 70 this November, Don, so he's getting up there. Yeah, I think I've seen some. I don't know about clips of the Yellow Submarine remake that was never completed, but I did see photos. I think. Scott, I wish I could tell you that there was something to talk about with regard to the archives of Back to the Egg or London Town or any other archives, but not really anything yet. And as Conga Man tells us here, he says the remake of Yellow Submarine was canceled. Yes. So there you have that. Um, I think I'll promote Talk More Talk, my other show that I do with Kid O'Toole, Tom Hunyadi, and Ken Michaels. It's going to be Monday, which is only two nights from now at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. Please subscribe to Talk More Talk, and we'll be doing this live this coming Monday at 9 p.m. Eastern. And what it's going to be is the topic is going to be, and I'll probably repeat this a few times during this session here. Don't really know how to word it, but it's going to be changing impressions, uh, the way people view Paul McCartney and John Lennon over the decades. You know what I mean? That kind of thing. And a lot of it was inspired by my feeling of how I feel like it used to be all about John, and now it's all about Paul. And how has this dynamic changed in the public eye and social media and all of this? So it's going to be an interesting topic. Talk more talk. You can subscribe and hit the bell so you don't miss a notification and when we go live. And we're going to be doing that on the Talk More Talk YouTube channel, 9 p.m. Eastern Time. So that's that. And I have no other news or anything. It's been a pretty normal week since the last time we did this. I'm watching The Sopranos. Again, I'm a fan of The Sopranos TV show, but I have to tell you, I've only ever, every time I try to watch the show, I watch season one and I watch season two, and I've started season three. I don't know if I've ever gotten to season four, but I never make it all the way. And then every few years, I decide to come back and try it all over again. And I start from the beginning. So that's what I'm doing now. My girlfriend and I are watching The Sopranos, and we finished season one, we just started season two again. And I hope to be able to go above and beyond. I don't know if anybody cares about The Sopranos, but I mean, trying to have stuff to talk about. And this is relating to all my channel. I have two channels where I remind people who don't know. I have another channel about movies and television shows, and that channel is called Mayo After Dark. Here I am during the day listening to Beatles and music and other stuff like that, audio. And then when the sun goes down, it's nighttime, Mayo After Dark. Let's watch the movies and the TV. So that's how I look at that. So please subscribe to my other channel, Mayo After Dark. Okay, hello, all things must pass. 34. Let's see. Favorite BBC and Star Club tracks. I'm not that wild about the Star Club. My favorite track is I Saw Her Standing There on the Star Club. And then that Mr. Moonlight is nice and stuff like that. Your Feet's Too Big. I mean, there's certain oddball tracks. BBC. My favorite BBC track are songs they didn't really record properly, or officially, I should say, as the Beatles in their regular catalog. My number one favorite is "I'll Be on My Way." That's my favorite BBC track. It's a song I wish they had recorded officially on their albums, and stuff like "I Just Don't Understand," the Anne Margaret song, or anything unusual that they didn't record, like "Lonesome Tears in My Eyes" or any of that stuff. I Got a Woman. Hello, Rory. Yes, indeed. Peter Jackson wants to work on the Hamburg tapes for free. I don't know, Rob. I don't really get into that. Just in case, I don't see the point in playing music. It's not worth it to me. People do that, but I don't. Hello, Basil CD and vinyl. Have I bought any records or been to any concerts lately? No concerts, other than Paul and Ringo, two guys you might have heard of. But other than that, I have bought records, and I made a video a week or two ago that I'm going to be purging all my vinyl and be careful. Well, I am being more selective. That hasn't changed. I am more selective, but I still have bought some extraneous stuff, non-Beatles. So I've still got some of the record buying bug there. No, I haven't bought any Weezer albums. The only Weezer I'm interested in is in the Our Gang comedy. This is the character Weezer from Little Rascals. Other than that, I'm not interested in the group Weezer. Yeah, the Sopranos was epic TV for sure. I didn't watch the show when it was first on, as it was running. I didn't see it till afterwards on DVD. To tell you the truth. The Goldbergs. No, I didn't watch it. I was gonna watch it because I was interested. Well, first of all, I like the wife. I've seen the wife. I like to look at her. But also the character, and I forget who it is. The father, the main guy who's on. His name Jeff something. The guy who's on. I still don't know his name, even though I love Curb Your Enthusiasm. I don't know the guy's name, and I thought maybe that would get me interested. Good evening, Aunt Mimi. Uh, Yeah, John Lennon said a lot of things that were bizarre. The Beatles, our best work was never recorded. Well, that's what he says. I know what he means. They were really great in Hamburg, and they kicked ass live, and they really, took no prisoners, and it was no holds barred. I get all that, but I think their best work was probably recorded. He, come on, when they got with George Martin and stuff. Hello, and reviews. Am I selling that Black Sabbath album? Yeah, I'd like to sell that one. Yeah, I would. Haven't sold it yet. Hello, Kimba. Greetings, greetings. Thank you for joining everybody here. And the Black Sabbath album in question is the first album. You know, I don't know. Probably going to sell it. I haven't made any headway yet insofar as getting rid of a lot of stuff. I have to really clean up around here, go through everything, make one pile of what's going to go, another pile of what's going to stay, another pile of things I have to listen to, and make some more first time vinyl spins videos. Kimba's at the job. Well, I'm glad you were able to find some time to pop in. Hello, Paulina, the angel of music. Happy Saturday to you as well. And here we are. So, everybody out there, what's on your so called minds? Yeah, the Black Sabbath album cover is really nice. But, you know, it was a rather expensive album cover, if you get my meaning. I paid a lot of money for that because it was a first edition and first pressing, and it was really, really, really in great shape, you know. I mean, if I wanted the cover, I could get, you know, a lesser album, really cheaper album. No, Rob, I don't have any idea. It's funny you're guessing about 2,500. Yeah, maybe 2,000, maybe 1,500. It's just a guess, really. Brian, just I have no thoughts on those letters. Well, Aunt Mimi, just be careful who you spend time with, as I hear that's kind of how it really works. Yes, indeed. I think you're wrong about that, Aunt Mimi, but that's pretty humorous. Okay, I'll be honest with you, Rory. It's a good question. I've never seen. I don't believe I've seen the Jeff Goldblum remake the Fly in its entirety. I've seen bits and pieces of it. I'm not even that wild about the original. To tell you the truth, it's okay. I would like to catch up with the Jeff Goldblum remake in its entirety and see if I wind up liking it. You know. So, the good old Ozone. Yep, the Ozone. I'm familiar with the Ozone. I mean, the original Fly has Vincent Price in it, but he's not like, you know, a monster or a bad guy or anything in it, you know. So yeah, we have movie questions. Don't forget this. We can do movie questions, television questions, uh, questions in general about almost anything. Of course, I don't delve into politics and things like that, but it could be all kinds of things within reason and within discretion, and you know what I decide to answer or not. But it doesn't just have to be Beatles. It doesn't just have to be music. I did not see the Dave Clark documentary. No. Well, wait. I did. Wait a minute. No. There was a Dave Clark. I'm sorry. I wasn't really thinking. There was a Dave Clark documentary. You're talking about like an older one. I mean, a few years ago, I think. I did see one because I like the Dave Clark Five. So I did watch a Dave Clark. I don't know if we're talking about the same documentary, but I remember thinking if I'm talking about the same one, that it was kind of the same footage used. So the Abominable Snowman of the Himalayas. I think that's the one we're talking about. I've never seen it. I think it's an early Hammer film. If I'm not mistaken. Somebody let me know. I think it is, but I've never seen that. Well, you mentioned the Brady Bunch. I gotta say, I grew up with the Brady Bunch. I was the perfect age for the Brady Bunch. Geez, I mean, 8, 9, 10 years old, perfect, 11 years old, perfect age for the Brady Bunch, and I loved the show. It's not one of my all-time favorites now, but my favorite all-time TV show, The Honeymooners, uh, I Love Lucy, The Odd Couple, All in the Family. Those are among my favorite TV shows. Um, but the thing about the Brady Bunch, it was a perfect time. I remember I had a younger cousin of mine, and she must have been 6 years old at the time, and I was 8. And she was like, "Oh, I remember it was going to be a monster movie on. I love monster movies, obviously." And she was like, "Oh, can we watch the Brady Bunch? It's this new show, Joe. It's really funny. It's really funny." And I remember very clearly. I was like, I don't want to skip my monster movie," but we did it that night. My cousins. I had these. I still have cousins. These 5 girls. They're all girls. I was the only boy. But anyway, be that as it may, we watched the Brady Bunch, and I did like it, yes. And then became ever since something that I'd watch every Friday night. I think it was. What a great Friday night lineup! Oh my God, 8 o'clock, the Brady Bunch. 8:30, the Partridge Family. This is how I remember it. 9 o'clock, I think, was Room 222. 9:30 was The Odd Couple. And then 10 o'clock was Love American Style. And Love American Style was like, oh boy, that's risque. You don't watch that. That's dirty. That's how clean we were then. You know, that's as dirty as it got. So, can I think of any remakes of movies better than the originals? Yes, one that comes to mind is people are not going to believe it. I always say this John Carpenter's The Thing. I think The Thing is way better than Howard Hawks' A Thing from Another World. I think that's a bore. And I say it's surprising for me because I love old black and white movies from the 30s, 40s, and 50s. I also think that the remake of Invasion of the Body Snatchers from 1978 with Donald Sutherland is better than the 1956 version. And there probably are other ones too that I think are better. So, favorite sitcoms of or any genre of the 70s sound like good topic for Mayo After Dark. Yeah, I have to think about topics. And again, anytime you just want to have a topic, I have a little pad here that I keep ideas written down into. I don't put everything down here. So I have a few ideas here that I have not yet to get to, but you never know. Yeah, the Cowsills did the Love American Style theme song originally in the first season or two, maybe, but eventually it switched from the Cowsills, and I forget who did it after that. But I like the second version better than the Cowsills version. Did you have a color TV back when you were a kid? We had black and white TV and color TV. I remember color TV mostly, but we would have in the kitchen. We might on the counter. We might have a little 13-inch black and white TV too. How about the worst remakes? In my opinion, the TV show Westworld is one of the worst things ever done. I don't care how popular it is; it's garbage in my mind, and it's just my opinion. I love the movie Westworld, and I thought the remakes. There's so many bad remakes, but you think I would come up with a lot more. Peter Jackson's 2005 King Kong remake, I think, stinks. There's worse remakes than that, though. I mean, I'd probably rather watch the Dino De Laurentiis 76 Kong instead of that, to tell you the truth. Um, so I think everybody always asks me this question. I seem to get this question a lot. As I always say, I did not like the TV show The Night Stalker with Darren McGavin. However, I loved the pilot film. Well, it's not really a pilot. It was a made-for-TV movie called The Night Stalker with a vampire that was fantastic. And he did a second movie after that called The Night Strangler, which was also very good. So The Night Stalker and The Night Strangler, the two movies, are good. Then they tried making a TV series, and I just don't think it was anywhere near as good, in my opinion. Let's see. I didn't watch Starsky and Hutch. Do I like Harry Nielsen? Very sparingly. I'm not a big Harry Nielsen fan. I like a few songs of his, but I've never been a real big fan. Ah, yes, thank you. How could I forget? Thank you, Woodland. One of the worst remakes or reboots, if you like. Planet of the Apes, the 2001 version by Tim Burton. What a hunk of crap that was. I waited a many years for that thing for them to restart the series, and that's the garbage they gave us. Now, did I watch Private Eye series back in the late '60s or early '70s? Huh. I used to think I liked Beretta, if that counts. Private Eye, not really. Cop. Yeah, I'm not wild about the new Godzilla and King Kong movies, to tell you the truth. I like the ones from the '50s and the '60s and the '70s, even the silly '70s ones I love. And then later on in the '80s, '90s, they came back with some that weren't bad. Yeah, I wish I had a definitive answer to this because there's so many artists I like after the Beatles. I mean, I love the Beatles. I love Elvis Presley. I love Bob Dylan. I love Joan Jett and the Blackhearts. I love Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers, the Rolling Stones, the Kinks. I mean, the Monkees. Who's number two? I don't know. I might pick the Stones. A lot of good comments in here about favorites, like shows like Mannix, uh, Mike Connors. Yeah, Cannon. I remember Cannon. Columbo never really was Columbo fan. Peter Falk. Well, I saw the Stones only once in concert. I saw them in 1989 in Atlantic City for their Steel Wheels tour, and I just thought they stunk. I just didn't like them. That they didn't sound like the way I expected them to sound. They different arrangements. Mick doesn't sing the songs, or at that show anyway, he didn't sing the songs the way I'm used to wanting to hear them on the record. I really didn't like it much, to tell you the truth, but at least I could say, hey, I did see the Stones. Just, I'm not sure what you're asking, James. I'm not a fan of Dark Shadows. To be a cult classic. Yeah, it's a cult classic. I just wish I could like it. I've tried watching Dark Shadows. They got all the episodes out on home video. I've tried watching them. I just can't get into it. Boring as hell to me. However, there's a good movie out called that they did in, I think it was 1971. I don't know, a movie called House of Dark Shadows. And the movie manages to take all the best elements of the TV show in one film. So there's an example where a movie's better than the TV show, in my opinion. I was not a fan of Mickey Spillane. No, I mean I didn't really. Not that I'm. When I say I'm not a fan, I'm not familiar with it. I never watched it. So there you go. Yeah, Rob says, I saw the Stones in 1995, back when they were old. I remember thinking they were old in 1981. I remember seeing a poster of them in like 81, like when Tattoo You was out. Oh, these guys are getting old, man. Funny. My favorite live show I've ever been to, it's hard to say. I mean, I saw McCartney up close at MTV up close taping in 1992. Just for the fact that I was up close to him, within 6, 7 feet away from him, was exciting. But some of my favorite live concerts, also Joan Jett. I saw Joan Jett in the '80s a number of times. Again, very close up. The best thing about Joan Jett is that she loved her fans, and even if you bought a seat to a show, she would appreciate it if you, at the time, I don't know if she does this anymore, would run right up to the stage. You didn't have to sit in your seat. You could buy a seat up in the balcony, and then when the show comes, just run up to the stage, put your arms on the stage like this, and wait for the show to begin. You had to get there. You might have to wait an hour or hour and a half or two, but I saw many shows, including a whole stretch at the Lund Fontanne Theater in 1989, right there, leaning on the stage and you know, touching the shoes. I mean, I'm talking about fantastic live energy like that up close that you can't put a price on. So I also liked the first time I saw the Monkees. I really liked it. Yes, indeed, I know about this. She's playing Eisenhower Park for a free concert. Am I going? Probably not. This time, I know when the day comes, when the morning comes, I'll probably be like, why don't I go? Because I did that already in 2015. How, as I remember, she had the same thing. She had a free summer concert there, and I actually went there. I was the first person there, so I waited from like 8 o'clock in the morning to like 8 o'clock at night, 12 hours in the baking sun. I got a pretty considerable sunburn, but yeah, I was there up front, but I don't know if I do that again, to tell you the truth. Oh, I'm sorry. Let me go back up. I missed some. Let's see. Do you think John should have had a funeral? I don't know. I don't care or know. I mean, Yoko didn't think so, so I trust her. You know. Hey, thank you, Anne, for being here. Yeah, that was the good old days when you could run up to the stage. I guess you've done that too, huh? Yeah, Joan Jett, definitely one of the nicest celebrities I've ever had the pleasure of meeting on more than one occasion. Yeah. But then you figure I still want to get Joan Jett's autograph one more time. As I keep saying, I was very fortunate to meet Joan a handful of times, in the '80s and even into the '90s, early '90s. And when I did, I got a bunch of autographs. But I never had her sign a Runaways album, and I have that album. Wish I had it handy to show you. I have videos on it if you want to look up Joan Jett autographs and Runaways autographs. But when she was in the Runaways, there's this album, live in Japan, that kind of folds open with the gatefold, and you see them all the girls standing there. And I got autographs of Sherry Curry, Sandy West, the drummer who passed, and also Lita Ford. But I never got Joan Jett to sign that because I just never had to sign the Runaways stuff. So I want one more meeting with Joan so she could complete that. That would be so fantastic. And I almost got her with the show I mentioned in Eisenhower Park 2015. She was almost going to sign. She came out. We were behind a fence. She waved us, "Hey guys," but she didn't come over to the fence. And that was before COVID. So COVID is ruining a lot of things for everybody. Do I have a favorite ever song? Well, that's impossible. There's so many, but I always say the song by John Fred and his Playboy Band. The song "Judy in Disguise" with glasses is always like one of my favorite songs of all time. That's a song I can hear that and I feel fantastic. Up, no song I can think of makes me feel in such a good upbeat festive mood every time when I hear Judy in Disguise. But is that my favorite ever song? I really don't know. I may pick "She Loves You." I figure my favorite ever song has got to be a Beatles song, and my favorite Beatles song is "She Loves You." I think. The Dead Zone. Did I see it? No, no. I know about it. Top five autographs. I don't know. I mean, it's hard to say. Woody Allen was one. People I've met in person: Charlton Heston, Woody Allen, Joan Jett. Is people I've actually met in person, and I have to think of other ones too. Who's my favorite Godzilla monster besides Godzilla? If you mean like the Toho studio, the Tokyo, Japan movies series of giant monsters, actually, I'm a fan of Mothra. A lot of people aren't big on Mothra, but I am. What did I think of the movie Light of Day? Please share your experience meeting Joan Jett. Well, there's a lot of the stories. I don't even know where to begin. I can't tell them all here, but the movie Light of Day I thought was poor, and I still have the VHS tape because this movie has not been ever released onto DVD officially, at least not in the United States or Blu-ray or anything. I thought the movie was kind of poor. I was disappointed in the movie, but Joan was really good in it. I thought she could give a good performance in it. And the first time I met Joan Jett, I knew where her manager lived when I way back in 1983. So I sent letters to the house. I sent fan mail to the house, and then I got up my gumption one time to knock on the door. Yes, folks, people love today in this world to say stalker, stalker. It wasn't like that back then. And the manager Kenny Laguna was so cool. He was going to allow me to get backstage because he saw how much what a fan I am. He's very loyal, and he allowed me to get backstage at a show. So I met her backstage, got a photo with her. But that wasn't the first time I met her. The first time I met her was at a nightclub called the Malibu Club, Malibu, and she was receiving an award, a little award. It wasn't a big event. It was a little event, but I knew about it, and I got there. That was the first time that I actually met her in person, and I was like struck at how kind she was. And she shook my hand and would not let go. I mean, you shake a person's hand, you stop, right? And she just kept shaking it. It was so great, and I have more to say, but I don't want to miss all the um, questions as I'm looking to see what we get. All right. Any love for Kim Fowley? Not really. I don't know enough about Kim Fowley except that he was an exploitive pervert kind of thing, but he did bring the Runaways. So yes, Philip, I saw the Elvis movie, and I did. If you want to check my channel, I did a review of it. I thought it was a good movie, not great movie. I think some people are really overrating it. And my girlfriend's doing well. Thank you so much for asking. Have I ever seen Gorgo? Again, not in its entirety, and I think I may own it back there. It's another giant monster dinosaur kind of movie, and I've never seen it in its entirety. So much to see. Favorite Bob Dylan film? Well, probably Don't Look Back. I mean, I haven't seen many of them, but I do like Don't Look Back a lot. Yeah, the Fugitive. Here's the deal with the Fugitive as well. I saw the movie with Harrison Ford, but the deal with the Fugitive is I have some of the DVDs in the other room, and I set out to watch them, but never finished them. I only started season one. The problem is, as I understand from a friend of mine who is a Fugitive big fan, he told me that there was a problem with the soundtrack music. They couldn't get the rights or something, so they didn't use the real music. So that's he was very disappointed. He says, don't bother watching it because if you watch it, you're not going to have the real music, which is a shame. But I do have a few of them, and I started watching it. It's fun. It's interesting. Um, and I like to get the whole thing watched one day. And as I say, it's funny. I'm retired now. I got the time to do these things, but boy, it's still hard to commit to a lot of things. Yeah, I know that Light of Day was released elsewhere. I think I don't know what the problem is with it, unless it has to do with music rights. Is the only thing I can guess. Uh, no, I mean as an actor. Who are we talking about? Oh, favorite Bob Dylan film as an actor. Well, I've never seen. He was in a movie called Hearts of Fire. I never got to see that, and I saw a little bit of the Pat Garrett and Billy the Kid. He doesn't act very good in that. No, I do not listen to the Beatles every day. I can go months and months and months and not play the Beatles, believe it or not. But what I do like to hear is the solo Beatles. If I want to hear Beatles related music, I reach for the solo stuff because the Beatles stuff I've heard a lot. Did I like Jet Jaguar, Godzilla's friend? Well, Woodland, it's funny you should say that because when I was a kid myself, I hated it because it was so stupid, and it is stupid. By the time you get to movies like that one, Godzilla versus Megalon, and the Jet Jaguar, they're really, really stupid movies for kids. But I began to realize I was expecting them to be serious. When I was a kid, I was expecting them to be more serious. I didn't realize. Now, as an adult, I actually can watch them as a gimmick, for what they are. I know what they're trying to do, and I kind of like them now. I didn't enjoy them then, but I enjoy them more now. Everything's going good, Dino. Thank you for asking. Uh, 20 episode. 200 episodes. Yeah, well, you can do if you watch one episode a day of a TV show, you can do it. I guess the answer to this, I don't even like saying the words, but if there was a fire and I could had time to grab one Beatles item, I guess it would be the Paul McCartney autograph that I got. You know, so all right, we're doing good here. Lots of good questions. Thanks everybody. Okay, let's see. Have you ever been a fan of Doctor Who? No, 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 no. I've never been a fan of Doctor Who. I know the series went on for a long time. Did I watch Frasier? Well, my girlfriend loves that show, and I got it for her for Christmas, the complete series. And we got up to season 7, and then we just petered out a little bit. That's what happens. I don't know why it happens. We still got to watch the whole series. She's seen the whole series. I have not, so we have to do that. My favorite Beatles compilation is the Beatles Rock and Roll Music compilation from 1976. Believe it or not, the underrated cover and album. Found a Let It Be 2 DVD set at your local thrift for $1 this afternoon. Of course, a DVD-R boot. Too darn hot here in Virginia. Bup, 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 bup. 404, you lost me. Hey, it's Joe Lee, the frustrated Yankee fan. The frustrated Yankee fan because don't forget, Joe, if you're a Yankee fan, you're so spoiled that if they don't win every single game, you're depressed. And it's not realistic to expect to win every game. Now, as a Mets fan, we're used to our losses. Therefore, a win is exciting to us. So there you go. Favorite rock and roll song? Oh, who knows? I can't answer that. Just can't do it. Which Beatles album do you want to see mixed next? Well, for me, honestly, I don't know. I wish they would go ahead and start with "Please Please Me." To tell you the truth, I know everybody wants to see "Rubber Soul" and "Revolver" and so forth, but I don't know. I'll take anything, whatever they do, as long as they keep doing the series, you know, and they eventually get to all the albums. I'd be happy. Okay, 404. Thank you very much for the positive comment. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, what's this? I definitely agree with you, Jason. I want them to do a Ringo special edition next year. Definitely. Let's see. What's my favorite George Harrison compilation? The next one. They have yet to make a good George Harrison compilation. I don't think any of the George Harrison compilations that are regularly legally available are really much good. They could do better by George, I think. Um, have I watched the classic flicks Little Rascals Blu-rays? Yes, I did. And please go over to my other channel. I have a second channel. It's called Mayo After Dark. And on the Mayo After Dark channel, I did do a video over there. It deals with you know, the channel in general deals with TV and movies. So I did do a Little Rascals Classic Flicks video. But I will say I tried to order the most recent one, the newest volume. I waited too long, and it's up to $40. What happens is these damn things, they come out, they're like $40 when they come out. Then they go down to 23 or 25. And I missed that. Now it's back to 40. So, um, that's a good question, Woodland. Let me just hold on. I got the fan here. Let's see. Just hypothetically speaking, if Giles and the Beatles never did another remix album, would you be fine with that or disappointed? Well, I want them all to come out, but in spite of Giles Martin. In other words, I would rather Paul Hicks or somebody else do it. I want them out. The only way we can get them to come out is for Giles Martin to do them, then I'll take it. I say I like some of Giles Martin's work. I don't dislike it. I like what he did with Sergeant Pepper. You know, but I'd rather have it with Giles Martin than nothing. Because what I'm looking for is really, to tell you the truth, is not the remix so much as I'm looking for bonus tracks, outtakes. That's what I'm looking for. Favorite Ringo Starr compilation out of the ones that are around, the legitimate ones that are out, official. Definitely Photograph, the best of Ringo Starr. That's to me the best one. The Ruddles, I think, was a very good spoof on the Beatles, and I love the music. I think the music is fantastic. I think Neil Innes was a genius. I think he really got the Beatles sound down. I think it really sounds like they could be Beatles songs. And it's a very, very fun movie. When I was a kid, again, I say a kid, a teenager, when the Ruddles premiered on TV, much like I said earlier in this thing about another show, which already I forgot about, I didn't like it. Oh, Godzilla. I was talking about Godzilla, some of the Godzilla movies. I thought the Ruddles movie, how dare they make fun of the Beatles? Like, how dare they do that? It's hilarious, because I now I accept it as a spoof. So, yeah, I'm with you. George needs a career-spanning box set. What's the Svengoolie movie tonight? Brides of Dracula. I recommend it. It's a Hammer movie, Brides of Dracula. Very good Hammer movie if you like vampire movies. However, I just watched it on Blu-ray recently, so I have no interest in seeing it. You're welcome about the Little Rascals, Willis. Thank you. Have a great rest of the weekend yourself. Do I think Past Masters 1 and 2 should be remixed? Yes, if they're going to do everything. If they're going to do everything, absolutely. I think so. John Paul Jones, I think, is a fabulous bass player from Led Zeppelin. I think he's really good. Uh, Yeah, we talked about this a little earlier. He's going to do Giles. I think you're talking about not Giles Martin. You're talking about Peter Jackson. Peter Jackson, who did Get Back, is going to be. He's been saying in the news he's got another project with Ringo and Paul, but he can't tell you what it is. That kind of thing. So that's exciting. Yeah, I've heard that these Springsteen tickets are pretty expensive. I don't care because I'm not going to see Bruce. Seeing him live at Paul doing Glory Days was good enough for me. I like the song Glory Days. What about the news that came out recently that Mobile Fidelity have been putting out digitally mastered records? You do not care at all. Nah. Well, Mobile Fidelity probably has a name that should be analog. Has a reputation. They should be doing analog stuff. But what era of Beatles fashion do you like? Hamburg leather, Beatles collarless jacket suits, or the psychedelic colorful clothes? Well, Rory, the answer to that is all of the above. I think that's what's so great about the Beatles, that there's all different periods. But believe it or not, I like the collarless jacket suits. I like the 1963 4 or 5 look. Really. Most overrated 60s and 70s rock band. Wow. I have an answer for that, I'm sure. Why I can't think of it, don't know. uh, I know the 80s, the most overrated band is the Police. For me, of course, that is. Somebody will remind me. I just can't think right now. Uh, 60s. I think Frank Zappa is one of the most overrated artists. Whoa, look out, all the hate. What do I think about George Michael? I don't know enough George Michael songs. I like some of the stuff he did with Wham, is it? But I do like his song Last Christmas, believe it or not. Yeah. What year was my very first Beatle Fest? I actually didn't go to the Beatle Fest until 1981. The year after John died. That was the first one I went to. Beatle Fest 81. Okay. Moving right along. Wow, time goes fast when you're having fun. 53 minutes now. Yes, I remember that when George Michael died on Christmas. That was a shock. We had gone up to Maine to visit family on Christmas, and remember being in the hotel room and hearing the news. Uh, Good question. When and how did I first discover the UK Beatles albums? Well, I grew up with the American Capitol albums, and after a while, I started drinking all the Kool Aid about how, oh, they don't sound that good and everything. You have to listen to it the way the Beatles intended. So, back when I was about 15, 16, we had a store called TSS, Times Square Stores, and they carried imports. So they had British imports there and Japanese. The Japanese ones I thought were even better. Although now I think they're a little too trebly, a little tinny. But back then it was a real revelation to hear the UK albums. So in the late 70s, 77, 78, 79, that's when I first started hearing the UK albums. And I loved them. I still love them. But as the decades passed, I found that, believe it or not, I'm gravitating more to the Capitol albums the way I grew up with them. But, they speak to me a certain way. And I really do think, and I mean this, the other day at my record store, we heard the UK version of Help. And it just sounded so sterile, so clean, that I kind of like the sound on the Capitol album. Give it a little bit more bassiness or slightly a little more verve to it. I don't know, something about it, more life. So that's just how I feel. What do I think about George Harrison's last album, Brainwashed? I think it's a very good album. And I think Brainwash is an album that unfortunately gets overlooked too often, you know? My favorite rock and roll song from the 50s. There are so many. I can't name one. Or what? I can't name one. There's way too many. Little Darling by the Diamonds, Get a Job by the Silhouettes, Speedo by the Cadillacs. I know there's some bonehead out there saying, all this guy listens to is the Beatles. You don't listen to nothing, you don't like nothing, he doesn't know nothing else. Why don't you get some therapy, please? Do everybody a favor. Uh, so, uh, let's see. What else we got here? Well, that's not true. You see, that Mets fans have lots of fun loving their Mets. You see, time really got a drag when Yankee fans lose a game. You see, I keep trying to tell you, for Yankee fans, it's harder on them when the Yankees are losing than it is for Mets fans. We're used to the Mets losing. You know, that's why we appreciate every little sweet win that we get. I know you don't understand that, but I'm sorry. Okay. Hey, what's up, Cherry Carter? Since it's Q&A, as a kid, what did you want to be when you grew up? I never knew. I never knew. I knew that, boy, I loved movies. Could I do something with the movies? And I love the Beatles. Could I do something with the Beatles? Well, now I'm doing the channel. If there was such a thing back there, back then, maybe I would have been doing that. But seriously, I just never knew what I wanted to do. People always said, what do you want to be when you grow up? And it's a great question. But now I think, what I would have done? Because when it came to movies, I didn't really want to be a director. I didn't really want to be an actor, although if anybody out there is casting a TV show, wants a regular recurring character, I'll do it. But anyway, long story short, what I'm trying to get at is that I like editing. I think I would have been an editor would have been good for me. So, uh, do I think Sean Connery is the best Bond? Yes, I do. And I didn't see Sean Connery first, mind you. A lot of times, whatever you see first or you experience first is always your favorite. But with me, the first movie I saw was The Spy Who Loved Me, which is still one of my very favorite Bond movies. Maybe still my number one favorite Bond movie, period. But I grew up with Roger Moore. Then I went back and I looked at the Sean Connery films, and Connery is Bond. Sean Connery's James Bond. See, period. What's my favorite album from the 90s? I actually have one, and we're talking about not Beatles related or anything like that, not counting Beatles. All right. Um, I'm going to go with, well, Joan Jett also. Well, of course, I actually like Jagged Little Pill. Are you out there, Miss? That guy I was talking about before. Jagged Little Pill by Alanis Morissette, I think, is a good album. It's got a lot of good songs on there. Um, yeah, there were other albums too by other people. Thank you very much, Jeff Allen. Jeff Allen with the $10 gift. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. Anybody's welcome anytime if they like to help out. It's not required. It's not a necessity, as I always say. Nothing new that I say that, but it means a lot. Thank you. It helps me run this place. So, do you own any of those weird records that were poorly made and sold to U.S. soldiers in Vietnam? I don't think so. I think I've seen those come into my record store. What was my job in the 1980s? Oh, I had a lot of jobs in the 1980s. Are you kidding? I don't even know where to begin. A lot of them, but mostly I would say I was a printer, printing jobs, different printing places. Act Naturally is a song that I really don't like much either way, but I definitely prefer the Beatles version. Yeah, I thought of this too, Cherry Carter. I thought about being a film reviewer or a critic. Yeah, I thought about that. True. People used to kind of like encourage me. Any favorite comedy albums? Rodney Dangerfield, No Respect. That's probably my favorite comedy album. Thank you, Jeff. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. That's very nice of you. How is Don doing? Is he okay? Don's doing pretty good right now. We had some problems, but he's like the Energizer Bunny. He takes a lick. No, 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 no. He's not the one that takes a lick and he keeps on ticking, is he? Whatever it is that takes a lick and he keeps on ticking, that's pretty good. Hey, thank you very much, Peter Boothroyd. Thank you so much for your generous contribution, my friend. Thank you, sir. Very nice of you. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Retirement is a much more tight thing. Fixed income. Yeah, I saw. Yes, I've seen a lot of these artist renditions of what John Lennon would look like if he were alive today. In fact, I remember there was a Beatles. In the early days, the '60s or '70s, somebody did sketches of all four Beatles, predicting what they would look like. You know, when they got to be old. Did I like the second new trailer for the Monsters any better? Not really. It didn't do anything. It's obviously it's gonna be a dog. That movie. Hello, Kim Rayner. Thank you very much, Kim. Any news on the Beatles CDs I mentioned on my last video? No, no, it's okay. I realized I was doing a live chat and somebody, was it Tim Allen? Now I'm forgetting. He showed them, he demonstrated the vinyl of it. And I realized I might have a couple of those on vinyl. I know I bought them on vinyl, so they were on vinyl around here. So, yeah. Don's not so sweet, believe me. Don's a nice guy, but he's got another side to him. Now, like anybody else, he's sweet and sour as well at times. When you say when did you first meet Joe? If you're talking about Bazooka Joe, the record store owner, in the early 2000s, he's the one I sold my original Beatles collection to. I looked in the yellow pages for somebody to sell records to, and I found him, so I went and sold him my Beatles collection. But I had already sold a lot of them online on eBay. This was the early 2000s. I was doing eBay back then. Um, Favorite Monsters episode is tough because they're all great, really. I don't even know where to begin. My favorite one I always say first is I like the one when Herman plays around with a tape recorder and it winds up falling in there. He starts singing a song, a silly song, and it winds up falling in the hands of a radio station. And he's the big hit artist, recording artist. But there are a lot of them. There are a lot of them. Leo DeRocher one is good. Yeah, like you said, that's another good one. I like the one when they divide the house in two. Herman and Grandpa having a fight and they divide the house. Do I like Elvis's movie Speedway? Yeah. It's all right. It's not one of the best, but of the '60s movies, it's fun. And yeah, I didn't know I didn't know that Tarantino took his inspiration from the dynasty of Pulp Fiction. But now that I'm thinking of the movie in my mind, I could see that. Do I think Bazooka Joe will retire soon? Not that I'm aware of. Uh, well, it's the Standells episode's not one of my favorite episodes personally. How does it feel now when you're retired? It feels fantastic. Just take for granted the fact you never have to go into there again and to work or anything if you don't have to. What's my favorite movie in 1944? First title, whenever I think 1944, House of Frankenstein, the Universal series. You know. Um, the conversation's getting good now, but I don't like to keep these much longer than an hour. There were a lot of people here. There were like over 100 people at one point. Thank you so much. I do this every Saturday. I'll do it again next Saturday if everything works out okay. Sometimes I may not be able to make it. And I really hope this time works out okay with everybody. I don't know, Saturdays at 5 p.m. Eastern? How is it? Let me know. Give me some feedback. I'm going to go now. I don't want to keep these too much longer than this. So the fun really goes fast. You know, the time goes fast when you're having fun. So thank you everybody for being here. And if there's any questions that you have that I haven't answered, save them. Save the questions. But I will make a comment. I always love to do this because Joe Lee just doesn't get the picture. The Mets, in all likelihood, will not make it. You're right. And you know what? I'm okay with that. You know, in my lifetime, the Mets got to the World Series like 4 or 5 times, and they won twice. I'll take that. But you people are so spoiled, you Yankee fans, that if they don't make it every year and win every year, you cry. So that's what happens when you get spoiled. So I'll take it where I can get it, and otherwise, that's it, everybody. Thank you all. This was fun. Talk soon.